Mum, could I please have a pink biscuit? Storm put on his most endearing tone of voice, which never failed to work. He was seated in the front of the car right next to Mum. They'd just finished shopping, and Storm had chosen the pink biscuits himself. He loved pink biscuits. It was his absolute favourite treat. Not now, Mum said. Later, when we get home and you've cleaned up your room. We've only been living there for a week and it's already a giant pigsty. She rubbed his tousled hair and smiled. Maybe, she said, Baldwin finished the bookcase. Storm muttered. Baldwin was his mother's new boyfriend. They'd been dating for an entire year, and now the three of them lived in a new house, in a new neighborhood, far away from their old home, and far away from Storm's friends. Baldwin had been trying to assemble this bookcase for the last 2 days, and had started over 5 times already. What a nerd, Storm thought. Dad would have finished that thing long time ago. But anyway, he lived in his own house, at the other side of town. He sighed. His father would have given him 2 pink biscuits already. Hey, shall we go to the car wash? Mum asked cheerfully. Storm bounced up in his seat. He'd never been to a car wash before. They stopped in front of a grey square building with a long line of cars. On top of the building, it said in big blue letters, Waltz. And underneath that, a dirty, faded sign, Car Wash. They must have been very old letters, the blue ones. They were covered with rust and flaking paint and were pointing in all kinds of directions. The S was even hanging upside down and dangling in the wind. Is this it? Storm asked, disappointed, as he sank back into his seat. Wait until we get inside. Mum pointed to the entrance. It was large and dark and had a traffic light. Whenever it turned green, the first car in line drove into the darkness and the other cars moved forward a little. There's nothing to it, Storm said, bored, and he started to wrap a tuft of his hair around his finger. It was the blondest tuft in his head. It was almost white. Mum leaned towards him. Inside, the gigantic scrubs are waiting, she said in a mysterious voice. And the merciless window washers, and the spuming, spraying nozzles, and, she whispered, the ruthless dryers. Storm got goosebumps. But not to worry, she added. As long as you stay where you are and keep the window closed, nothing will happen to you. And then it was their turn to wait in front of the red traffic light. Storm looked at the window on his right-hand side. Closed. All the other windows were closed as well, and his seatbelt was securely fastened. Thank goodness, everything was safe. But when the traffic light turned green and the car gently moved forward over the threshold, he suddenly became very quiet.